Hey, welcome back to Whoosh. I know I've been a little sporadic the last couple of weeks. A lot going on. The weather's nicer. It's been warm. So yeah. So apologies for that. But I did have a chance this past weekend to attend FanExpo Boston at the Heinz Convention Center in Boston, Massachusetts. So I thought I would check in and touch base and give my thoughts on the event as a whole. Um, I'm trying to remember between Boston Comic Con and Fan Expo Boston. This is probably my sixth or seventh time attending it total, and probably my least favorite experience. But not because of the guests, because of the setup. So let's start with I guess what the negatives are. Usually it's at the Boston Convention Exhibition Center, and it was not there this year. It was at Heinz, obviously, as I said. Um, the I'm going to call it the BCEC, and the BCEC is set up as basically one massive floor area for you to go through and experience the whole con. That to me is a better experience than what we had this year, which was the celebrity guests being on one floor, Artist Alley being on that floor, and then below them being the vendors. Um, and that's similar to what I experienced at New York Comic Con, except it was reverse at New York. The celebrities were on the bottom floor, and so was an artist alley, and then vendors were on the upper floor. And that can work. It works great at New York Comic Con. Makes sense. It's a massive, massive area. Lots of artists, lots of celebrities, lots of vendors. 100% makes sense. The unfortunate part of them being at Heinz is that Heinz is a very small area to begin with, feels very condensed. And the Artist Alley really had that problem. I love going through Artist Alley. It's one of my favorite places to go to see the artists, to see the work they put out there, to meet some of the writers and artists on comic books that I really really enjoy. Um, and this was one of my least favorite experiences because even though we went Sunday, it was Father's Day, it was not very busy. Um, it still felt cramped in Artist Alley, and I felt like I couldn't fully look at some of the artwork and the stuff for sale in there and to really appreciate the work. And I felt bad for the artists for that reason. The nice thing about that area was that they put all of the comic book writers on the outside and artists on the outside of that. So they had some more space to work with there, and it was cool. Speaking of those artists and writers, one of them that I've had the chance to talk about on here before that was there was Clay McCormick. He just has a new digital only book coming out via Comixology. It's a Comixology original, so if you have Comixology Unlimited, it's free to read it. It's called Hardstyle Juice, and it is a pro wrestling murder mystery comic. I thought that was really cool. I like pro wrestling. I always have since I was a kid. So the fact that there's a comic book out on it, I was like, heck yeah, sign me up. I'm interested. I stopped by the booth hoping to get maybe a physical copy, but turns out I just wasn't sure, and it's a digital only option. So definitely something to check out if that's something that piques your interest. If not, check out some of his other work like Bloody Hell, or some of the work he did on Batman the White Knight, like I've discussed before. So, really, really cool to run into him again. Enjoyed talking to him a second time. So, definitely, definitely go check that out. Um, the other artist I kind of had a talk with for a bit was Kevin Malqui, I believe is how you say his last name. I should have asked for further clarification. You can find him at ckevdraw.com. That's SEEKEVDRAW.com. And he kind of did these cool reimaginings of Power Rangers in his own kind of image of what he thought about them, and he made up his kind of his own universe for them, and the art was really really cool, and this Green Ranger one really stuck out for me. And I picked it up. I mean, it's only a 5 by 7. I eventually will probably maybe get a bigger piece that he's put together. I think they're really cool. I was just on a budget this time and wanted to make sure I grabbed something to support it because I love the Power Rangers, the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, my favorite. Love Tommy. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. But this piece was really cool, and really really stoked I picked it up there. So definitely go check him out and support him at ckevdraw.com. Now What are some other cool things I did while I was there? Well, we did walk around the vendor floor a little bit. I didn't purchase really anything there. We did bring our niece and nephew, so they had a great time. They enjoyed shopping on the vendor floor, got some cool stuff, picked up some art along the way, some other cool things from some of the vendors. Really, really cool. They had a great time, so I'm always excited to bring them. Um, my wife and I went because there were quite a few different Star Wars people that were going to be there, and that's something we really like. A couple of them had some crossover appeal as well. So if you can see it in the background now, there's a Rogue One poster on the wall now that is signed by Alan Tudyk, who voices and played K2SO in Rogue One, which is my favorite Star Wars movie now. Absolutely love that movie. And K2SO is one of my favorite droids of all time now. So, really, really cool to meet him. My wife ended up getting a King Candy photo signed by him because King Candy's hilarious from Wreck It Ralph and a great character. And Alan Tudyk, who hasn't he done or voiced or played or something along the way, whether you like Dodgeball and you like him for Steve the Pirate, if you like him as Wash in Firefly and Serenity, you name it, he has probably acted as it, and he's been fantastic. So definitely go check out Alan Tudyk. I mean, you can't miss him. He's in so much stuff. Um, One of the more recent things he's done is he voices Joker in the Harley Quinn animated series. So that is really, really cool as well. So yeah, no, Alan Tudyk was probably the number one person on our meet list. And then we also met, I believe it's pronounced Iman Nasfandi, who plays Ezra in the Ahsoka series. Wicked, wicked great guy to meet. Super nice, super friendly. Talked to us a little bit about some of the behind the scenes stuff. One of the funny things, if you know the Ezra character, one of the names he gives people all the time is Jabba. Um, so thoroughly enjoyed that on his table was a picture of Jabba the Hutt, and then I had to explain to my wife why there's a Jabba the Hutt picture because she's like, he's not Jabba the Hutt, and it was great, and he got a kick out of that story too. So that was pretty cool. We met Diane Lee Insanto, who plays Morgan Elsbeth in the Ahsoka series and in The Mandalorian. She's the Night Sister. Wicked great person to meet. We got into a discussion with her about Star Wars, what got us into it as a couple, what we like about it, what we don't. Turns out she also really likes Rogue One, which was pretty cool. So that was really cool. We met Cameron Monaghan, who is Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. He also plays Ian on Shameless, which is a show my wife really loves him from, which is why when we met him, we all flipped off the camera together, which was fantastic. Um, so that was really cool. He was also really nice. And then the last person we didn't get a picture with, but I did get an autograph on an Ahsoka poster that I am putting together, was Rosario Dawson. And this was a last minute kind of choice because when we looked over, there were maybe one or two people in her line when we got done. And I expected the line to be longer. It was like, I'll save the money on it. It's fine. But when the line was that short, I was like, when will we have the chance to do this again? So had the chance to meet Rosario Dawson, who is fantastic. Not only is she Ahsoka, but she was Claire in the Defender series, both in, in basically Daredevil, I believe Iron Fist, Luke Cage, the Defenders. Like, she's all over the place in there. And she's fantastic. She was also in Rent. She's in Clerks 2. She's been in so many things, and she's fantastic. And she was super sweet to get to talk to. And one of the cool things was there was a little kid who was doing some like Star Wars tricks, and we were sitting there with her watching the kid do the tricks, and she was just encouraging the kid, and the kid was going to town and having such a great time, and it was absolutely amazing to watch. So um, yeah, I mean that was FanExpo Boston 2024. Not a lot to cover. Um, but it was cool to get to go and meet these people. I just wish Fan Expo had picked a better venue that would have done better for the show, because that's the only drawback I have for the entire show, was that the venue didn't do it any favors. It was cramped, it was congested, even with not nobody there, but a very small crowd there on Sunday while we were there. It felt overly congested, and I can't imagine what Saturday must have been like in there, because Sunday was bad and there was far less people. Everyone we talked to said Saturday was wicked busy. There was a lot of people, and I just can't imagine that. So the good news is the 25 FanExpo Boston will be back at the BCEC, so it should be more space, less crowds, more spread out. So hopefully if you're in the area or it's something you're thinking about checking out, I still recommend checking it out. Just be careful of what day you choose. Friday's usually pretty good. Saturday is extremely busy, and Sunday is a lot less busy than Saturday, but can still be pretty busy depending. So plan out your weekend accordingly based on what you're hoping to achieve and who is there, because that's a big part of it too. If somebody's there you want to meet Friday, or sometimes they're only there Saturday only when it's a really, really crowded day. So it's tough to say what to do on that front. But definitely enjoyed it overall. Some things I would change, but had a great time and would recommend going again next year. So yeah, with that, we'll catch you here next time. Thanks.